We are eager to talk with you about anything that matters to you. There is nothing that is off limits here. It is our desire to help you to realize that in every situation you can, if you want to, achieve a better focus and improve your point of attraction. We want to help you close that gap between the things that you have identified that you want. You've been doing it all of your life and even before. We want to help you to close that gap between that vibrational reality that you have done such a magnificent job of creating and what you are actually allowing yourself to realize in your moment-to-moment experience. When you make your transition into non-physical, that gap will close, and you will be an immediate realizer of all that you have expanded to be. But we don't think you should have to croak in order to be experiencing the benefit of what you've carved out. You came with such clarity and purpose. As source energy beings that you are, you came into this physical body intending to have a wonderful time and intending to experience things that would cause you as a creator to desire beyond anything that you had ever desired before. The expansion of the universe is about that. The evolution of all species is about that, you see. So you're doing such a good job of that. The variety that surrounds you causes you all day, every day, to launch rockets of desire. We call them rockets of desire because they shoot out of you, usually when you are not aware that you are shooting them off. When you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. So you are honing the details of your life experience and asking for more all day, every day. And the larger part of you, that inner being part of you, that source energy part of you from whence you have come, who still remains fully focused in non-physical, becomes the full expanded version of every single thing that you think you would prefer beyond where you are. So your inner being is constantly holding that expanded, evolved space that you have carved out for all of us, holds it steady so that you may accomplish a vibrational frequency that equals the same. We know, we've been talking about this with you for a while, looking for different ways to explain to you how vibration becomes reality. And we began talking to you about, first there's this vibrational reality. We spent quite a bit of time waving Esther's arm around at this invisible circle. It's the vortex. Get in there. Everything you want is in there. There's a vibrational reality that occurs before you sometimes allow yourself to realize it in its full fashion. And you are very patient with us as we find ways to explain to you how you are a vibrational being in a manifesting world. And you want to say to us, well, we've already figured out that we're in a manifesting world. That's why we want cars and houses. It's why we want money. It's why we desire food and places to be. And so part of what's happened is that you are so oriented in your translation of vibration into the physical things that you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch, that you've left a big gap in your understanding of how those things have become things. And even more, how they've ended up in your experience, wanted or unwanted. So we want to help you to understand that you are the realizer, which means you are the translator. You are the thinker of vibration. You are the focuser on vibration. You are the bringer of vibration into physical reality. But it doesn't feel that way to so many of you because when you got here, so much of it was already here. That was funny. You didn't realize it, did you? And you look around at everything that's here, and then most humans just move stuff around and try to get stuff from each other, and there's this economic pie that you try to slice up, and you don't want that guy to get too big of a piece of it because you want a piece of it, and you've got this flawed premise that the pie is only so big. And so most humans are really proficient at observing reality. But we want you to realize that you are the creator of reality, that you are the realizer of your reality, and that with just a little bit of understanding of this vibrational universe in which you are focused and of your vibrational nature and of the way you translate, you do those vibrations into the experiences and the material objects and the situations and the relationships. You translate everything into the reality that you perceive, and you have so much more control over your reality because you have so much more control over your perception than most humans are currently exercising. So, in other words, when life causes you to ask for more money, for more prosperity, you do, and it becomes a vibrational reality. But so many of you have been saying to us, as you have patiently listened to our explanation of these unseeable things, Abraham, I'll accept the vortex. Okay, but how do I get my money out of the vortex and into the bank? That's what I want to know. How does this reality that you are so excited about become something that I am excited about? And we say, right there is the answer to your question. You got to be excited about it before you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it. It has to be meaningful to you to feel the thrill of the expanded idea. But that's not going to happen to you until you understand how it works. You got to understand that there always is a gap and that that's okay. You got to understand that there's contrast surrounding you all the time, and that's okay. You got to understand that when you're focused in opposition of something that you desire or something that you have become, and you don't feel good because you're focused in opposition, that that's okay. You've got to accept that negative emotion is all right because it's part of the process too. Your emotions let you know how near or far you are from the vibrational frequency of what you have already created. So we're not here to teach you how to create because you can't stop doing that. You're doing it all day, every day. You are becoming. And we're not here to convince you in our ability to know what you want because that's irrelevant to you. What we know and what we know about you is really irrelevant, not important. It's not important. It's not important to you unless you want to be the full realizer of all that you have become. We want you to feel more power in the now, because what you're living now isn't about what you've done before. Of course, what you're doing now is logical because of what you've done before. It's not likely that you're going to do something different now than what you've been doing. In other words, because you have habits of thought. But it is your now point of attraction that now you can modify, and by caring about how you feel, it's more probable that you will. That distinction matters. I'm not now living the results of what I've been doing. I'm living the results of what I am doing. Of course, yeah. But I am doing it logically because I've been doing it.
Sure.
But I don't have to do now what I've been doing.
Right.
If my desire to feel good is strong enough, I can rise above what I've been doing and do something different. Did you hear that? You are a little more aware of what is than is good for you, but then that's logical, isn't it? It's logical that you would be aware of how things are while you're wanting them to morph into something different. So let's start with the process of the focus wheel. The focus wheel is a process where you start with a central idea, something that you desire, and you focus upon it. Usually, when you're doing a focus wheel, you don't have a steady habit of feeling that way. In other words, when you're doing a focus wheel, there's usually something that you're trying to bring into focus so that it will be to a greater advantage. In other words, a focus wheel is a way to improve your point of attraction. And everything we're talking about here today is that, isn't it? My point of attraction, what I'm letting in. So we're going to do a focus wheel in order for you to, at least during the time of this conversation, let in, which is to say, no longer keep out. Because if you're not keeping it out, you're letting it in. If you're not holding the cork under the water, it will bob back to the surface. So the focus wheel is to accomplish a relief in your resistance through focusing, feeling, That's a focus wheel is really about finding the feeling.
Okay.
So in the center of the focus wheel, we're going to make statements all around the edge of it. But in the center of it is really what you're going for. It's what you're wishing for. It's what you're desiring. So make that statement, which is the subject of this focus wheel, and make the statement as if it is already true. The point of the focus wheel, the whole value of the focus wheel, is to start focusing on ideas and statements that don't contradict that. So you're not trying to talk yourself into being in love, because the statement said, I'm in love. In other words, I'm in love. So now you want to write something and just pay attention to the way it feels to know if you nailed it, which means you usually want to be general. You could even change the subject of whether it's a person or just in love with life. In other words, so just make statements that don't contradict that. That really is the process. Make a statement that doesn't contradict the central point, I am in love. So much has happened. We're in such a good place. Let's not mess it up. Let's take the momentum that we've already established and let's hold that place of knowing that all is well and acknowledge that you are an extension of source energy and you are here with great purpose, and that purpose is joyful beingness. That purpose is discovering a way to let the natural resources of well-being flow to you through the details of your preferences. Did you hear that? The resources of well-being flow to you through the details of your important preferences. You've been sifting and living and identifying your important preferences, and not one of your preferences has gone unnoticed or untended to. Who you are and what you want in detail beyond our ability to find verbal description exists in your vortex, in your vibrational reality. And now it's your work to create somehow, you're going to have to figure it out, a vibrational atmosphere, a mood. You are the creator of the mood that allows you the realization of the unfolding of all of these preferences. And you've put enough there to keep yourselves happily discovering for 20 or 30 lifetimes. It's such an abundance of magnificent detail that you have defined and that you still continue to define. If you can stop comparing yourself to others and no longer feel a need to defend your position or to justify it or to rationalize it, to be righter than this person. The other day, someone delivered the most beautiful bouquet of flowers to Esther at her new house. And someone was there with her when they came. And the flowers were so big and so heavy. It was hard to get them to the place she wanted them to be, but she managed it. And, oh, they're so pretty. And then she clinked on the vase and she said to this person, yeah, that's a glass vase. And the person said, no, it isn't, it's plastic. So Esther took her ring, clinked it. No, that's glass. It's glass. No, it's not, it's plastic. Never mind the most beautiful bouquet of flowers in the world. This vase is glass. No, it isn't. It's plastic. And Esther used all of her restraint to just not drop it on the floor.